What's up, guys? Grimsie42 here, and I have got the pickups that I got when I went garage sailing with Scott from the Video Game Sellers, and then the stuff that I got at the world-famous Wagon Wheel Flea Market the following day. I will start with the stuff that I got while I was garage sailing with him. Unfortunately, due to the holidays, there were limited selection of garage sales. We kind of just drove around, found some signs. He did find a couple items, nothing too crazy. All I managed to find was a game I thought I needed, turns out I don't. It's a copy of We Play, so this will be going into the doubles pile, which is not the end of the world, but sad that I thought I needed it and I don't. What I do need is Wii Sports Resort. I've got the big box for it, but I don't actually have the game. Not in the biggest hurry to find that. It's like a $2 game, but moving on. The rest of this stuff is stuff that I found either at a pawn shop or directly from Scott. I purchased one item from him too that day. The first thing I found was priced at $6.99. I talked them down to $5. It is a copy of Cubic Ninja, and that's something that has become kind of a hot item recently. It's skyrocketed in price. GameStop was selling this for $5, and it went up to $39.99 almost overnight. Apparently you can use this to kind of get a passway and get a homebrew channel on your 3DS. Not something I would be doing. I just picked it up because A, it was cheap, and it's cool to kind of have this because this will be a small little piece of video game history. It'll probably fade quickly, but kind of cool to add to the collection, and for $5, not a big loss. Alright, this next item I had been looking for a long time, this specific version. Glad that I was finally able to find it at a price I was willing to pay. I got this at a Cash America for $10, and it is the complete, with a K, edition of Mortal Kombat. And this offers basically all the DLC that you had to pay for if you just had the regular version. So definitely cool to get the rest of the characters and their costumes and all that fun jazz. So really cool to finally knock that one off the list. And lastly is a very clean Sega Saturn game that, like I said, I purchased off Scott. I got this for $10. It is a copy of Robotica. Kind of looks like a first-person shooter of sorts. No styrofoam, but it is complete in there. And the manual, for whatever reason, is not really bent, so cool there. Maybe this had a styrofoam in it till just recently and he took it out. No idea. Anyways, moving on to the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. Now, last year I went there, and I was there very early, and I didn't find too much of anything. This year actually was a little better, believe it or not. I found a lot of different stuff. I think I got some pretty good prices, so I'll just jump in. The first things that I picked up, I believe, I went to a table and I saw they had a decent amount of like original Game Boy games, couple GameCube games, stuff like that. I'll show you the Game Boy games I got first. They're in these little cool cases. I think they need a little cleanup, but if I can get them open. Okay. The first one is Wario Land Super Mario Land 3. The next one is one I was really looking for, and other than dust, it's pretty clean. Metroid 2 Return of Samus. And lastly, as far as Game Boy games go, this one also something I was looking for. It is Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers. So basically I got those three and this GameCube game here, which is Spyro A Hero's Tale. And I asked the guy what the best price he could give me, and he said 20, which is, you know, reasonably fair. I think the Metroid's like a $10 game, Mario Land's about 10. But I got all four of those for $15. I thought that was very reasonable. Definitely some decent titles and some pretty good prices, at least as far as, you know, a flea market would be considered. This next one, a lot of people have spoken about and said it was a game that is definitely high on their list. It was a lone game just sitting on a table, on a random junk table. It had a $5 price tag on it, which I think is about what a fair price would be for it. It's not a very expensive game, but I'm told it's fun. But I kind of didn't look interested. The vendor noticed I was looking around, and I showed it to him, and I said, you know, is $5 the best you can do on this? And he kind of didn't want to come down. And I said, well, you know, it's really, you know, like, this is only like a $5 game in store, on eBay, whatever. I said, you know, I'd be willing to do $2. And he tried to say $3, and I says, really, all I want to pay is $2. and he didn't want to do it, so I started to walk away, and he says, you know what, give me the $2. So for $2, Beetle Adventure Racing. Definitely glad to add that to the list. It is, from what I'm told, a hidden gem, so pretty cool. Next, I'll show you guys a couple games I snagged. These, two of these are new for the collection, and one of them is just a throw-in that I'll add in my trade pile. But basically, I had went up and this vendor kind of had a blanket laid out, and she had a couple games. There were a few more I didn't pick up, but I asked her how much she wanted for the games because a few of them caught my eye, and she said that they were 2 for $5. So that's already a pretty fair price, but I asked her, I said, you know, would you do 3 for $5? And she said yes. So that was how I threw in that extra title, which is probably worth like $6 or $7, so I'll pretty much get all my money back. And I'll show you guys that one first. It's Simpsons Hit and Run, kind of like a Simpsons Grand Theft Auto type of game. Complete and in really good shape. All these games were really clean. The next one is Jak 2 from the Jak and Daxter series. Complete again, really good shape. And lastly, this is the one that originally caught my eye, and this one is in really, really good shape. It even has a registration card, Astro Boy. Like I said, it's got the registration card right there. And this one still had like the sticker on top. It was slit, but I mean, you could tell these were games that were not played or handled very much. And those 3 for $5 I thought was a very, very fair deal. Next, got a couple more pickups that I got from random booths, and then I got stuff that I got from Scott, and then actually one pickup from Kenny, who has a booth just down the way from where Scott and Aaron set up. I noticed this, and this is something that as a Wii collector I've had my eye on for a while, something I wanted to get. I didn't want to pay a lot for it. It is the big box version of NHL Slapshot, and this one is brand new. The top sticker has been taken off. I believe that was GameStop's fault, but I cleaned up all the stickers and everything that were on it. The guy had $10 on this, and $10 is definitely what I was willing to pay for it, but I wasn't going to just take the 10 and run. So I noticed he had a couple complete in box Super Nintendo games, one which I already had, the other one I didn't, nothing major, but he had $5 on it. It's Super Pinball Behind the Mask, and again, another complete Super Nintendo game off the list, not going to complain. I asked if he would do 10 for both. He kind of thought about it for a minute and said the best he would do is 12. I reached in my wallet, and as I was reaching for the money, he says, you know what, 10 is fine. So I gave him the $10. So definitely very happy to score that deal. This last item before I get to the stuff I got from Scott and Kenny is something that I had a bit of fun. So Scott and Jeremy and myself were walking around on the flea market out in the, what is it called, the Mustang, I guess. And while we were out there, he spotted a copy of Def Jam Vendetta, Scott did, and both him and I had it confused for Def Jam Fight for New York, and he was like, oh, you know, that's like a $20 game or so, you know. He's like, pretty good find. And he opens it, and unfortunately the disc was cracked. So a little disappointed, but we continued on. And a few booths later, we saw a copy of Def Jam Vendetta. We all saw it at the same time, so there was kind of a scramble for it. And I get to it first. And then, just to be a bastard, he reached into this pile that the games were because there was a second one. And I beat him to that one, too. We kind of grabbed it at the same time. So he was a little salty about that. But I had good deeds and good intentions in mind. And again, at the end, it all turned out to bite me in the ass anyway. So I grabbed them both. And they were only $1 each, so I paid the $2 for them. And I told Scott, you know, I just want one for the collection, and whatever else, you know, you can just have the other one. I'll just give it to you. And, you know, I looked at them. They're both missing the manual. So instantly I thought to myself, ha, I'll go back and buy that one with the broken disc because it had the manual. So I dart off, and I go to buy it, and I asked the guy how much he wants for it, and he said $2. And I showed him that the disc was broken, and he was like, okay, give me $1. And I'm like, what am I going to do with it? I was like, listen, this is like garbage. I will take your garbage out for you for free. And he was like, yeah, just take it. So I put the manual with the best disc in the best case and got myself a complete copy of Def Jam Vendetta. And then the joke is on me because right when I had done that, I kind of remembered and realized this is the first one. The second one, Fight for New York, is the valuable one. So this game is almost worthless. So I basically went through all that trouble for absolutely nothing. The joke was on me. I did give Scott the other copy. Like I said, I actually gave him both the broken one and the other copy. So he did all right in that. He got them both for free, and they got to have a little laugh at my expense. So it's whatever. Next, the stuff I got from Scott. Unfortunately, he didn't have as much stuff that I want as he did last year. He says it's because I have so many more games now. I think it's just random bad luck because there's still hundreds and hundreds of games that I definitely want. The first one was a disc upgrade for me because I already have this complete. It is a disc-only Eternal Darkness. So I now have a spare copy of Eternal Darkness disc-only, which will be cool trade bait for somebody. It's not in terrible condition. I just wanted a better disc because it's for my collection, and the copy he had was really good. And the next item, last item I got from him, is actually for my buddy Brian. I already have this. It is a copy of Persona 2, and as you can see, it's very clean. Both discs are in there and in really, really good shape. There's the bonus disc and manual and first disc. So definitely something I'm sure he'll be very happy about. And last but not least, Scott had a copy of this, but his was a little roughed up, and I noticed that Kenny at his booth had a decent selection of Dreamcast games. He had two that I had my eye on. The first one was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Unfortunately, we weren't able to agree on a price for that. He was about $5 higher than I wanted to pay. So I actually picked up just this one, and I probably could have gotten it for less. He didn't really haggle very much, but I wound up paying $20 for this, which is, you know, just under what it sells for, but it's something that I had as a kid or as an owner of Dreamcast. I was probably about 19, 20, and it's a very clean copy of Sword of the Berserk Guts Rage. And this is a really cool game by Eidos. It's in like perfect condition. It's basically a game where, based off a manga, where you take control of this guy here, Gutsu, I think his name is, and it's just a really cool kind of hack and slash type of game. Very interesting. Not the longest game, only about 5 or 6 levels, but something I definitely had fun playing in my younger days and look forward to trying out again. Anyways, that was everything I got. I thought I did decent. I didn't spend too much money, which is definitely good. And I found some stuff that I was really looking for, like, you know, this isn't the biggest thing in the world, but, you know, another big box game to add to the collection. Definitely happy about that, and I am a huge fan of the great one, Wayne Gretzky, so definitely really cool. All in all, I had a great time in Florida. It was cool to see Scott again, and I'm definitely looking forward to next year. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Take care.